Well, hello everyone. This is Peggy Mercer's YouTube channel. If you will, just hop on over there as soon as you get through watching us and click like and then subscribe. If you can do that, I will really appreciate it. That is how YouTube lets us keep going. We are doing a Trump video this morning, August the 2nd, 2024. We're excited about our Republican nominee for president, and we are triple excited about the great American hero, J.D. Vance, a young former Marine that Trump brilliantly has chosen to be his vice presidential running mate, and we're so excited about that. I haven't been on in a few days, and there's a lot to talk about, a lot of good things to talk about, and we will mention some things about the various components of this election. This YouTube video is created to help you voters think and think twice and think thrice and think quadruple about your vote. We urge you to plan your vote for Trump. We love the way our nation was thriving previously under President Trump. We love the way that he wanted to put America first. I want to put America first. I want myself and my family first. I want my finances to come first. We will talk about some of this stuff. I want to drop back, if I may, for just a minute and talk about the assassination attempt, because that is still on everybody's, that is everybody's topic of conversation. Of course, it will always be, because it was such a negative moment in history, but also what we hope a learning experience, sadly enough, for the Secret Service and the other local law enforcement that handled this terrible and tragic event, because people did die and families did lose husbands, children did lose their dad, and so we want to say a few words about this. I believe that we are 17 or 18 days out from that assassination attempt, and we still don't have answers. The American people are furious about this. We want answers. We want to know why a law enforcement officer climbed up a ladder and looked at this shooter in the face. And it says that in many stories that I've read, the shooter pulled a gun up and pointed it at the law enforcement officer. I think the law enforcement officer was probably pretty smart to back down the ladder, but at that point, why didn't somebody else go up the ladder and shoot this guy? There were minutes between when that happened, and he pulled the first trigger, and the first bullets went through the crowd toward our former president. Why at that point did this guy not send somebody else up the ladder? That somebody would have been a sniper. Why didn't he radio to others? There's a guy up here with a gun, we need to take him out. So there's a lot of questions about what happened. There were a lot of bystanders and people in the audience that saw the guy climbing on the roof, and I've seen a joke about a cow walking on the roof. Can't you see a cow on a roof? So the Secret Service and the local law enforcement, who coordinated all this? Who had to give the go-ahead for somebody to take a 20-year-old out of commission? Who had to give the say-so to check out this roof? Who saw this guy going up there with a ladder, which it then says that he left a ladder because mysteriously a ladder was placed there for him? Where are you, whistleblowers? Speak up. Get up and stand up for what's right and what's good in America. Be a tattletale for the good of America. Where are you, whistleblowers? We need you. I do want to mention some things and that will cause you to think. I have had a report from some of my friends that their husbands are running from the room screaming, "Don't believe Peggy, don't believe Peggy. Don't watch her video," after they just watched my video. And I can tell you that I take that as a compliment. If I can create thinking, if I can cause you to question and rise up and support Trump for president, that's exactly what I'm here to do. I do want to mention some things about Kamala Harris. And the first thing I want to do, because everybody's so upset about it, and rightfully so, I do want to mention the National Association of Black Journalists interview a couple of days ago that they held for Trump in a major, it looked like a New York studio. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but I was sitting in my chair with my eyes glued to the TV watching this. I knew instantly that it was a setup when they were saying that they were that Trump was having to wait for an hour on them to get their audio working. I knew that was a bunch of BS, because having trouble with the audio is the oldest excuse known to man as to delay an event. The audio won't work. The stand won't fold up right. Don't tell me all this. This group should have been ready to go. They should have known whether the audio worked or not, and they didn't know. Don't tell me they didn't know. They didn't know. All of this was planned. It was a setup to get Trump. Don't think it wasn't, and I will tell you why. I'm an old school journalist. Guess what? I was educated in journalism at the University of Georgia, Valdosta State University, Florida State University. I'm an old school journalism who wrote articles for mainstream newspapers, who created things for television. I can already tell you that a professional interviewer does not. This woman shook hands with Trump, and I thought she would squeeze his hand off. I could tell instantly it was a setup. I wanted to grab him back and say, "Don't walk into that trap." But he did, and he very kindly sat down and waited for her to show respect and decor and good manners, because she was interviewing him with his permission, not the other way around. So the interviewer in journalism must, number one, they must show respect for the interviewee. It is their guest. They are not their guest. You hear what I'm saying? Trump was her guest. And not only was he her guest, he is a former president of the United States of America. He deserved respect from her. Rather than give him respect, she started saying things that may or may not be true, and that were definitely taken way out of context in which they were said. You must know that Trump has a great sense of humor, and you must know that he's a blurt, not a flirt. He's a blurt. He's like me and the rest of us. He kind of blurts things out. Sometimes he would do well to insert his foot and keep quiet, and we all know that, and that's one of the things that we love about him. He's so honest, and he's so a little sarcastic, just like we like. We love that sense of humor. And this interviewer started accusing him and digging into him with hateful rhetoric, accusing him, and therefore engaging his defense. She was making him, as a human being, just want to defend himself and fight. And that was rightly so. She was doing that deliberately. She was ugly. She was rude. Please fire her. ABC, you need to fire this woman. I think her name was Rachel. I don't even know who she was. But she was ugly. She was mean. She was unprofessional. She was out of line. She was distasteful. She made all of us mad, and we turned her off. And then we turned it back on when beautiful and professional Harris Faulkner came on and tried to save the day by having good manners and showing respect for President Trump, as it should have been. But President Trump had no choice but defend himself because this woman came out loaded for bear. And I can already tell you that she was looking for the wrong bear. If she was asking for a tail whipping, she got it, and she should have got it, and she should be fired. She is not a journalist. She is not an interviewer, and she needs to either go back to school. She probably needs to be remanded to the junior desk where they are learning how to show respect to the interviewee, and she had no business injecting her personal opinions and her personal accusations on former President Trump, because he is so beloved and he deserves respect just by the fact that he's a former president. He should have gotten that respect, which he didn't get at all. Now, there has been a pure uproar among my Democratic friends about Harris being able to become, without any votes, without any support whatsoever among so many of them, Harris being able to be pushed into the position of Democratic nominee for president. My Democratic friends don't like it. They feel disenfranchised. They feel like they were used. They feel like all this happened at the last minute in order to not give them any time to choose another candidate. I want to drop further back a few years back. When Kamala Harris was running for president or whatever, debate, whatever, she was with that group that was going to run for the presidential nomination. And she was the lowest one of all. The financial people behind her stopped sending her money. The financial people, the voters stopped voting for her. They didn't like her. She was the poorest choice on the stage. But then something was discovered that most people missed, but I didn't miss it because I don't miss anything. It was said that she was involved with Hunter, Joe Biden's son, Hunter, that's the cocaine addict and the pay-for-play originator and all these criminal activities that he involved his daddy in with the Ukraine and China, etc. It was said that he had a scheme going with China that was called Influence for Pay, and that Kamala Harris was one of the ones involved in this. All of a sudden, she becomes the vice presidential pick of Joe Biden. She is chosen to be vice president, although she was the lowest one on the totem pole among the Democrats running. And so the Democrats, my friends, always wondered about that, and they wondered how she got into this position, and all this stuff about her going with Willie Brown when she was 30 and he was 60 and he was married and his wife was going to have a baby. I don't get it. I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't understand a 30-year-old that wants to date a 60-year-old unless it's a power grab, unless they are using this guy for a ladder to climb up to get to be in the California State Attorney General. And I don't know if any of this is true or not. And but I do tell you that my Democrat friends are asking a lot of questions because they feel disenfranchised. They feel kicked out of the picture. The Democratic Party is no more. Friends, if you're a Democrat, your choice was taken away from you, and you did not nominate this person to run for president. And there should be other people running for president from the Democratic Party, because that's what freedom is all about. Now, I do add to that we have a lot of great things to talk about. Now, we did see that J.D. Vance, Trump's vice president nominee and running mate, we did see him go down to the southern border. It is true that Harris was put in charge of the southern border. It is true that her thinking is unrealistic. It is true that Trump had a right to question her identity. If you tell a child growing up that he's Peter Pan, he's liable to grow up thinking he's Peter Pan, okay? That don't make him Peter Pan. And just because Kamala Harris says that she's African American, friends, I'm here to say to you, I'm sorry. She is no such thing as African American. Now, she might have been raised to think she's African American. She may think she's African American. But let's look at the facts for just a minute. Her mother was from India. Does that make her African American? I'm sorry, it does not make her African American. Her father was from Jamaica. I understand that I may be wrong. I understand that he was a British Jamaican. He was black, that's true. But he was not American, brought over by the slave traders from Africa. He is none of that. So what does that leave her? Does that leave her thinking that maybe she grew up all her life told by her parents that she was African American when she's no further from the truth? She is Indian and she is Jamaican. What does that make her? American, Indian, Jamaican? I don't know what it makes her, but it doesn't make her African American. The reason that I say this is because my Democrat friends are upset about this, and they are saying that they are upset about this, and they're telling me they're upset about it because they feel like she's telling lies. She is telling lies, and telling lies is one of her strong suits. Sadly, she has ruined our southern border, and our nation is drained dry from trying to support the millions of illegals, mentally ill people, crooks, criminals. They've let all the prisons out. If they can send them to America, then they don't have to support them anymore. They don't have the problem of crime in their country with these people because they're in America causing crime. Folks, wake up. It is time that we see this for what it is. The southern border is a total disaster thanks to Harris. She had something that she said that really got to me that was so far from reality. She said when she was younger and the DA of, California, she said that in a crime there were two victims. She saw the person who was robbed as the victim and the robber as the victim. How stupid is this? Friends, if somebody murders someone in your family, there is a murdered person and a murderer. That's it. There's a killer and there's someone that they killed. If they robbed you, you've been robbed. You are the victim, not them. They are the robber. That is why we have law enforcement. That is why we have a civilized nation, because we have laws that everybody must abide by to stop the killing, stop the crime, stop the false thinking that everybody is a victim. Everybody's not a victim. Everybody has a choice. If there is a victim, it's because there is a perpetrator. There is a criminal. How false is this thinking? I'm sorry, but she does not obviously know the difference between a criminal and a victim. And we have to look at everything about her, things that have been done over the years, and what things have been done. Nothing's been done. She is the author of nothing. She has done nothing. Biden canceled all of Trump's regulations and then restored them later on down the line so that he could seem to come across as the person who created caps on drugs and stuff like that. That was because he canceled all of Trump's regulations in order to set himself up to look good. Well, he's being controlled by the shadow government. And what do you say is the shadow government? That's when you've got somebody in a position that can't do the job, and you have somebody waiting in the wings over here that can do the job or thinks they can do the job. Bleeding heart liberals wanting to destroy our nation. Friends, I am asking you, what is ahead for Trump? Trump continues his rallies. J.D. Vance, that great American young hero, former Marine, that is our vice presidential nominee, he continues the rallies. We love the guy. Young America is so excited about J.D. Vance, and we're real excited about that. And so what happens with Trump is Trump moves forward with his great rally. He tells us all the good things that he's going to do to turn this nation around, to make it where we can buy gas for our automobile, to make it where we can go to the grocery store and get what we want and what we need. Forget what we want, what we need. And so the prices, the inflation, all that's going to come down out of Trump. Now, you may not like Trump's personality. There are things about Trump I like. There's nothing about him I don't like. I know so many people in my life that have been in business, that have done so many things that are a lot worse than what he's done. He has people working for him. He has people moving the records around and doing things like that, just like the other politicians do. They have staff, okay? And so there's nothing that I can tell you about Trump that is gonna make you not want to vote for Trump. All of us want to vote for Trump. All of us need to get busy. There's only one young Pressler, Scott Pressler, out registering voters all over this great nation. Thank you, Scott Pressler. We just love you so much. We might not can go out and walk the streets. We might not can send out direct mailers in the mail to 30,000 voters tomorrow. I'm on YouTube because Elon Musk and Trump and all those people said that we need citizen journalists, and I'm a citizen journalist bar none. And some don't like what I say, and some think about what I say and say, well, she's right. And there are people that run from the room and say, don't believe a word she's saying. Well, let me tell you something. If I can cause you to think, if I can cause you to get behind Trump and support Trump, then that is my goal here. Thank you for joining me today. I'm all about Trump. I'm all about J.D. Vance. I'm a proud Trump supporter. Maybe you will become a Trump supporter. Thank you so much for joining me today.